A Roman soldier stole bread from a fellow soldier. The punishment. His entire unit was ordered to beat him to death with their bare hands. Not the enemy, his own brothers. That was Tuesday in ancient Rome. Rome wasn't just an empire, it was a machine built on order. And order required consequences. The Romans had one of the most sophisticated legal systems the ancient world had ever seen. Written laws, courts, judges, lawyers, actual trials. But the punishments sitting behind those trials, completely brutal. And what's wild is, the punishment depended almost entirely on who you were, not what you did. Who you were. Rome had two classes of people in the eyes of the law. The honestiores, the upper class, senators, soldiers, landowners, and the humiliores, everyone else. The poor, freed slaves, common workers, same crime, completely different fate. A wealthy Roman caught stealing might be exiled, stripped of his property, sent to live on a remote island for the rest of his life. A poor Roman caught stealing the same thing, flogged in public, sold into slavery, or executed. The law was equal on paper, reality was something else entirely. Now let's talk about what actually happened. For minor crimes, fines, public flogging, hard labor in the mines. The mines were essentially a death sentence stretched across years. Men worked underground in darkness until their bodies gave out. Most didn't last 2 years. For serious crimes, execution. But even that wasn't simple. Your status decided how you died. Citizens could be beheaded, quick, dignified. Non-citizens and slaves faced crucifixion, slow, public, intentionally humiliating. And then there was the worst one, damnatio ad bestias, condemnation to the beasts. You were thrown into the colosseum. No weapon, no armor, just you and whatever animal the crowd wanted to see that day. Lions, bears, leopards, crocodiles. Tens of thousands of Romans sat in the stands eating food while a human being was torn apart below them. And they called it justice. Here's what actually disturbs me about all of this. The Romans weren't sadistic for the sake of it. They were deliberate. Punishments were public because the point wasn't just to punish the criminal. It was to send a message to everyone watching. The Colosseum held 50,000 people. That wasn't entertainment. That was a warning. A 2nd century Roman legal scholar named Ulpian wrote that harsh punishments existed, and I'm paraphrasing, so that others might be deterred by the example. The suffering was the message. Here's what stays with me. Rome lasted over 1,000 years, the longest-running civilization the Western world has ever produced. And some historians argue the brutality wasn't a flaw in the system. It was the system. Order held because the cost of disorder was too visible to ignore. We look back at the Colosseum and call it barbaric. And it was. But every society decides what it's willing to do to the people who break its rules. The Romans just did it in front of 50,000 people eating lunch. The only real question is, what does ours say about us?